Go ahead and take out your math notebook and a pencil. Label the next blank page, lesson 4.7, writing point slope form. I'll capitalize my letter here. We're going to start with a quick review of 4.6 and then move into 4.7. So if you remember 4.6, you had to take a graph, find the slope, and find the y-intercept, and then write the equation. So our y-intercept on number 1 is at 2. Our slope is 2 over 1. So our equation is y equals 2x plus 2. Number 2, our y-intercept was a -1. So y equals mx plus b. This would be a -1. And our slope goes 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1, 2, 3. So it's -4/3 x. So y equals -4/3 x minus 1. Pause the video, see if you can find the equation for each one of these, and then come back and see if you agree. Y equals mx plus b. Our b is -1. So we get y equals, and I'm going to go up to here on our slope, 1, 2, back 3, so it's -2/3 x minus 1. Our y-intercept is -3. I'm going to go up to this point. I could go up to this point. 2 over 1, 4 over 2 would be 2x. Y equals 2x minus 3. Remember, you had to find equations for each side of a parallelogram. So for this one, we have y equals, I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1/2 x, 1, 2 plus 3. This one is parallel, so y equals 1/2 x plus 0, or you could just leave it alone. These two sides, for this one at least, you would have to find your y-intercept. This one, our slope is 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2, so basically 2x plus 0. This one, if I go up 2 and up 2 more, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be y equals 2x plus 6. And I'm not going to worry about the second one here. So this time, we're going to be given the slope and a point on the line. And once you have that, you should be able to write it in slope-intercept form. There's two ways of doing this. The first way is that we're going to draw a line with a given slope, passes through the given point. We're going to find the y-intercept and then write equation. So here's our slope, -2. So it's -2 over 1, which means we go down 2 and then to the right 1. So we're going to start at this given point. So I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1, 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 at least until I hit the y-axis. So our equation, y equals, we know our slope. Now we know that it crosses at -2. So there's our equation. Letter B, m equals 1/3. So that means I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 3. And I'm going to do it until I cross the y-axis. But if I go up 1 and to the right 3, I end up right here. So let's go the other way. Instead of up 1, I'm going to go down 1. Instead of right 3, I'm going to go left 3. So I'm going to start at our point, down 1 to the left 3, and I right away hit the y-intercept, hit the y-axis. So y equals, 1/3 is my slope, x, and I cross at 1, so plus 1. This is one way to do it. If you're given a point and the slope, you should be able to do this. This should be a 2 right there. So let's do it on C and D. We start at a point. I'm going to put the negative with the 2, so I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3. So down 2 to the right 3. And I can just stop because I'm already on our y axis. So our equation, y equals negative 2/3 x. And you could put plus 0, but you don't have to. Letter D, I'm going to go up 5 and to the right 2. So start here, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the right 2. And again, right away, I hit the y-axis, so I can stop. Y equals 5/2x plus 5. So graphing it is one way to do it. You can go ahead and pause the video and do 1 and 2. Again, I want to get the equation. So 2/1 is my slope. I'm going to go the other way. So y equals 2x minus 1. I'm going to go this way. This is going to be y equals negative 1x plus 1. Go ahead, pause the video, do it again. Negative 1/2, I'm going to go up 1/2, so y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. I'm going to go down 2 and to the left 3, because if I go up 2 and to the right 3, I'm going to go that way. So y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Now that we know how to do it with a graph, let's talk about the equation. So I want you to pause the video and write this whole thing. Use the words, use the algebra, and I would also like you to do the picture so that you have a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Point slope form. An equation is written in point slope, a linear equation written in the form y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is in point slope form. The line passes through the point x1, y1, and the slope of the line is m. So this is probably the biggest thing that you're going to be writing down. So pause the video and make sure that you have it written down. We're going to be using it on the next several slides. So here we go. We're going to use point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Our point that they give us is x1 and y1. And of course, our slope is m. So all we're going to do is plug things in. Y minus our 1. I'm going to cross it off that I know I used it. Our slope is 2/3 times x minus, and I'm going to put in a negative 6. So I used slope and I used x1. So I'm going to make things super easy right away. I am going to double dash, and I'm going to do the distributive property. So this side stays the same. I get 2/3 x plus 2/3 times 6/1. If I quick do that, I get 4, and there it is. This should be a minus, I'm sorry. To finish it off, I need y by itself, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Y equals 2/3 x plus 5. And there's our equation. Let's do it again. We're going to do this a couple of times with each of these. Again, always start with point slope form, which is that. You should get used to writing that. Again, we have x1 and y1. So I'm going to do y minus 2 equals a negative 4 times x minus 1. I'm going to do the distributive property. So negative 4x, and a negative 4 and a negative 1 is a positive 4. And then I'm going to add 2. So I get y equals negative 4x plus 6. And you should be able to check your work. Plug your x and your y in. It should totally work out. So negative 4 times 1 plus 6. So negative 4 plus 6 gives me 2. And that is what y is. So we know we did it right. Let's do it again. y minus 0, because this is our x1 and y1, equals 1 times x minus 7. This one's going to be fairly easy. I can take this off because I don't need it. So y equals, do the distributive property, 1x minus 7. And there's my equation. And again, I can plug it in. 1 times 7 minus 7 equals 0, and that's what our y is. Y minus, I got x1 and y1, so y minus a negative 5 equals a negative 3/4 times x minus a negative 8. Okay, lots to do here. Let's double dash here. Let's double dash there. So I get y plus 5 equals, I'm going to do the distributive property, negative 3/4 x. And again, 3/4 times 8 over 1. Chances are your fraction will disappear, and that gives me 6. But it's a negative, so a negative 3/4, so it's going to be minus 6. I subtract 5 on both sides. Y equals negative 3/4 x minus 11. So again, all I'm doing is plugging in the numbers mainly for our y1 and our x1 and our slope, and then solving the equation down to simplifying the equation. And that's all that we're doing. Let's do it again, only this time, if you look, I'm going to write this up here, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Here, though, I am given 2 points. I don't have a slope. So there's 2 different ways of doing this, okay? 2 different ways of doing this, and it's totally up to you. The first thing I'm going to do is find my slope. You know that slope is change in y over change in x. So I'm going to go my 4 to negative 2. That comes down 6. And my x goes from 2 to 5, which brings it up 3. So my slope is negative 2. Negative 6 divided by 3 gives me a negative 2. Then I can go ahead and pick a point. It doesn't matter which point. So I'm going to pick 2, 4. So that's my x1 and y1. So then I can do y minus 4 equals a negative 2 times x minus 2. Y minus 4 stays the same. Do my distributive property. I get negative 2x, and then a negative times a negative gives me a positive 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, so I get y by itself. Y equals a negative 2x plus 8. Now, there's another way to do it, so hopefully you'll get the same answer. I can use this as x1 and y1, but I can use this as just plain x and y. Or vice versa. It really doesn't matter. And I can plug that in to those 4. So I would have my y's would be a negative 2 minus 4 equals m, which we don't know yet. And that would equal be multiplied by 5 minus 2. So if I put negative 2 minus 4, that gives me a negative 6. M times 5 minus 2 is 3. I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. So my m equals a negative 2, which is what I got right here. So then I would follow all of that. So you can find your slope 2 different ways. Change in y over change in x. Or you can plug your x and y's into the equation and come out with just m. But then you'd have to do that whole equation again in order to find your slope-intercept form. Either way works. So let's pick one. Let's pick number 6 and do it this way. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to do it this way first, where I find the slope. So change in y over the change in x. So 6 to 9, that goes up 3. Negative 8 to negative 2, that comes up 6. So my slope is 1/2. I could plug it into the equation. I'm going to do this xy, this x1, y1. So I'm going to do 6 minus 9 equals m times negative 8 minus a negative 2. I'm going to double dash. 6 minus 9 gives me a negative 3. Negative 8 plus 2 gives me a negative 6 over m, or times m. Divide by negative 6. Negative divided by negative is a positive, and I still get 1/2. There's my slope. So now I'm going to pick one point. Doesn't matter which one. I'll pick this first one. And I'm going to plug it into my equation. Y minus 6 equals, now I know my slope is 1/2, x minus a negative 8. So I'm going to double dash. Y minus 6 stays the same. Do the distributive property, 1/2 x. Half of 8 is 4. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So my slope-intercept form is y equals 1/2 x plus 10. And again, you can plug things in to check it. So half of x would be negative 4 plus 10 would give me 6. Half of negative 2 would be negative 1 plus 10 would give me 9. So I double checked my work to make sure that it was correct. Go ahead and do one of these. Let's do number 13. I'm going to do change in y over change in x. So 4 to 6 gives me 2. 2 to 3 gives me 1, so my slope is 2. So y minus, I'm going to use 2 and 4. Y minus 4 equals 2. Sorry, I almost wrote negative 2. My handwriting needs to be better. 2 times x minus 2. Leave the first one alone. 2x minus 4. Add 4. So my y equals 2x. And that's all there is. I could put plus 0, but you don't have to. Again, let's pick one. Let's pick number 15. So let's do it the other way this time. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So again, I have x and y, x1, y1, and it really doesn't matter which way you go. So 1 minus 2 equals m times, now I'm going to do my x's, 4 minus 8. So I get negative 1 equals a negative 4m. Divide by negative 4. Simplify, and my m equals 1/4. Now I'm going to plug everything into my equation. So y minus, let's use 4 and 1, minus 1 equals 1/4 x minus 4. Y minus 1 stays the same. 1/4 x minus, what's 1/4 of 4? That would be 1. Remember, multiply by this. So you get 4 over 4, which equals 1. I add 1 to both sides. Y equals 1/4 x. And there is my answer. Okay, let's do one more. This is our exit ticket. We have a slope of 2, and here's our point. So y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus a negative 1. I'm going to double dash. Do the distributive property on the right side, 2x plus 2. I'm going to add 4 to make sure my y is by itself. Y equals 2x plus 6, and there's my answer. So your homework now is 2 things. Your homework, which will be due next class. Number 1, finish up the 4.6 exercises, 3 through 15. And now you're going to do the 4.7 exercises. You got 3 through 17, then there's a 19, then there's a 22, and then there's a review that's 24 through 27. All of this is due next class. And as usual, if you have questions, feel free to message me. Have a good day.